Worry doesn't change anything, but trusting in God changes everything. Worrying doesn't change anything, but trusting in God changes everything. I love that quote because it is true. What can worrying do for you? What can worrying do for you? Well, it can cause all kind of problems. It can cause all kind of health issues. It can become a major separation between you and the God who created you. Now, I'm not just going to throw scriptures at you. I'm going to give you some practical applications because I love practical applications. We're going to talk about a few things, and then the lesson is going to be yours. Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. I was just sharing with somebody as I was driving. I said, you know what? Do not bring yesterday's problems into today. Because if we look at it, we are going to be facing things today. Each and every day we're going to be facing some things. Now, some of the things we have to learn is between what to be concerned about and what is worry. Because you have things you worry about, and then you have things that you are concerned about. Number one, you have to write down the things that you are worrying about. You can throw prayers up. You can ask people to pray for you in a general way, but that is not going to help you because you want to get to the root cause of what is truly going on between your left ear and your right ear, because that's where it all takes place. I read earlier, it says that we hurried, we worried, and we was buried. We hurried, we worried, and we were buried. Yes, that's not how I want to go out. Is that how you want to go out? And have you ever been on with someone on their deathbed and they are worrying about things still on their deathbed and not knowing that worrying probably contributed to their health problems? So number one, you must write it down. Write down the things that you are worrying about. Now we have this flesh, and then we have the Spirit of Christ. For those of us who've accepted the Lord into our life and followed His plan for salvation. Okay, so we have the Spirit of the Lord living inside of us. Now let me ask you this. So if we have the Spirit of the Lord inside of us, why do we fear? So write it down. Is it that you have fear that you're not going to pay your bills? Is it something dealing with your husband or your wife? Is it something that's dealing with your children? Is it something that's going on in your biological family? Is it something going on in your spiritual family? And so you write it down. You have to write it down. Let me give you some things that write down if this is pertaining to you, or I can give you some things that I've struggled with inside of my life. Number one, will I fall prey to habitual sin again? Or maybe you may be caught up in habitual sin. Let's look at both of those. Okay, if you have a fear of going back into an addictive behavior, so now what are you worried about and what are you doing about it? Once you identify it, you can ask yourself, what am I doing about it? What things, what safe measures have I set up for myself that I do not go back? Now, Say, for instance, you are practicing habitual sin, regardless of what it is. You're practicing that. Now, what are your worries? Are you worried that you're going to get caught? Are you worried that you're going to be exposed? Are you worried that you're going to contract some kind of disease? What is it that you are worried about? Write it down. Once you've written it down, look at a plan of action. Number one, you need to get someone involved with you to hold you accountable. There are always people around. God has people around that will help you. So that's the first two things that I want you to do, is to identify what you are worrying about and ask yourself, why are you worrying about those things? And then have a plan of action. The key question is why? Why am I worrying about this? Why? And when you can answer the why, you will be able to come up with a plan. It will work. I guarantee you it will work. And the reason why it will work is because most people do not write down and identify and ask themselves the question, why? What do they do? What do? We just keep it going and going and going on inside of our mind and not taking any actions. What we need to do is to bring the darkness into the light. Let us look at John, the 3rd chapter, verse number 19. This is the judgment, that light has come into the world, and men love darkness rather than the light, for their deeds were evil. For everyone who does evil hates the light and does not come to the light for fear that his deeds will be exposed. But he who practices the truth comes to the light, that his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in God. That's why we want to bring it out. You want to bring it out of darkness into the light. The worst place for me to be on planet Earth is inside of my own head. So I encourage you to write it down. Journal every day so you can see what is playing inside of your mind. And yes, it is dark because sin is dark. Thank you for your time. Walk in the light as he is in the light. And if you want more content like this, please leave a comment. God's blessings.